Hi, team. All right, so we are starting our new unit today, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So, you don't have any homework, just a little bit of writing that we're going to do together in class today. So, let's dive in. So, we are going to talk about our new unit, what it is, why we're reading it, all the resources you'll have available, how it's going to go. And then we're going to have you do a little bit of writing for us about your perfect person. And we'll give you more directions when we get there. All right, so our unit is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. If you're familiar with it, great. If you're not, it's a love story about two people, two teenagers, a guy and a girl, and their families are like big, huge enemies, but they fall in love. So it's the story of that. So, yes, it's old. The language is kind of difficult, but I don't want you to worry because we have a lot of things that are going to help you. And I'm going to kind of show you how to find them on your iLearn in just a minute. So, we got a bunch of stuff to help you. One of the things we're going to do is we have two versions of the actually three versions of the play that you can read. So there's the original version, there's a more modern version, and there's a graphic novel. And I'll show you how to find those in a minute. Then we have summaries of each scene that you can read. So it's like how we talk, it just kind of tells you what's happened. And then what we're going to do in class is we're actually going to watch each scene together in class. And if we don't have a Zoom meeting that day, the scene will be posted on your iLearn for you to watch. And there's going to be a summary in our PowerPoint every day. So every day you're going to see a video. We're going to talk about what we're doing for that day. We're going to summarize the scene. And then you'll have a second video, which is the scene itself. Okay. And again, I'll walk you through all of that in just a minute. Okay, so we might be wondering why we're reading this because the language is not the language that we use today. I mean, it's still English, but it sounds very different. So there's a bunch of different reasons, excuse me, why we're reading this. Partly because falling in love is a really big part of who we are and our identities. It's a really important experience, especially that first time. We're also reading it because we all know what it's like to be in conflict with somebody, right? We're in a fight with a family member, maybe a best friend. And so we can all kind of relate to those feelings. Another reason we're reading it is because some of the characters in this play make decisions that end up really hurting them. And we've all kind of done that in one way or another. So it's another way that we can kind of relate to them. And the last reason is because Shakespeare is everywhere, everywhere. His stories have been told and retold so many times in so many different ways, and there are references to them in so many different ways. And so, if you know his work, you're actually going to get more meaning out of other books and TV and movies that either use his work as a basis for their story or have references to it. Okay, so before we get into the perfect person, let me walk you through our iLearn. So when you go to your content page, this is what you're going to see. We're in Unit 3, Romeo and Juliet. Okay, and as usual, we have resources here for you. So at the top, you're going to see, as usual, our Zoom link for our class. Then our next one is the Romeo and Juliet text. So let me click on this and show you what it looks like. It's going to take you to this place where you can look at scene by scene, right? And it gives you a little summary of what's happening. So let's say I want to look at scene 1, right? This is what it's going to look like. It has the original text, which is what you're going to hear when we watch it. Right? It has that text on the one side, and then it has a more modern version of like how we talk on the right side. Okay. So you can read either one, whichever one works for you. Then we also have, I'm going to go back here. Okay, so that was the text. We also have a graphic novel version. So when you click on that, it's going to take you to that same website we were using before, SparkNotes. SparkNotes is awesome. You should 100% use that to help you understand what's going on. I mean, you're not going to copy stuff for your assignments because you know better than that, but you can use it to help you figure out what's happening. And then when you click on it, right, again, you can go by scene. So let's go back to scene 1. And here's your graphic novel. So you click on the first page, it shows it for you, right? And it uses the modern translation to help you figure out what's going. So then you just click next, and then you can keep going, all right? All right, so those are all the ways that you can look at the text. Then what you're gonna find is, because we're watching a movie version, I put for you here the pictures of the characters from the movie so you know who is who. So when you look at this, it's gonna open up like this. And you're gonna see Romeo is played by Leonardo DiCaprio, right? So it tells you the character's name, what family they're part of, and kind of who they're connected to, right? So you're going to see Juliet here, right? And then as you keep going, you'll see more characters. So these are the ones in the movies. These are the people that you're actually going to see in the movie, okay? Right. So then in our resources folder, we have breakdown, which is just like a really basic list of what happens in each scene. So I'll show you what that looks like here. Right? So you can see this is the scene here, and then these are the important things that happen. All right, so if you need a quick reference like, oh, when did this thing happen? Okay, it's in the Act 1, Scene 4. Okay, great, I got it. Okay, and we'll teach you how to kind of read, which act is which act and scene and all that kind of stuff tomorrow. Okay, and then the last thing is, let's say you looked at the text and it really didn't make sense to you. So then you looked at the graphic novel and you think you got it, but you're not quite sure. You can go here to the summaries. And what you're going to see is just a plain summary of each of the scenes. It tells you exactly what happens, right? It says it really plainly. So if you're really struggling with what's going on, this is going to be a really great resource for you, okay? So all that stuff is going to live in the resources folder. All right, and then of course our meal outline if you need it for a reference for later. Okay, so let's go back to the work we're doing today. So we're going to ask you to write about a perfect person, and this is in your iLearn for today. So you can go ahead, get this opened up. So here's what we're asking for. So we want you, to decide for yourself, are you writing about what the perfect man is supposed to be like or what the perfect woman is supposed to be like? And then you're going to answer questions 1 through 5. Okay. I know this says share with your group, so that would be if we were in class. You can ignore that part. You can ignore numbers 3 and 4. So you're going to decide what you're writing about the perfect man and the perfect woman, and then you're going to answer all the questions. Okay? So that's basically it for today. If you have any questions, you can send me a reminder and let me know.